I'm William Grantham with IchimokuWeather.com, and we're going to take a deep analysis of XLK, which is an ETF that takes a look at the technology sector. Now, it also has some financial payment processors and some telecom firms. It has 77 different tickers inside its holding. Now, you can see these charts. We're going to be taking a look at the weekly, the daily, the 4-hour, the 1 hour, the 30 minutes, and the 5 minutes. These are very similar to the Q's, QQQ, which is the NASDAQ 100. Notice how the charts look very similar. So we're going to go back to XLK, and we're going to take a look specifically at the weekly first. On the weekly, we can see that we do have a nice channel that is going along here. And what we're going to be noticing that is on our last candle here, this is a Monday, so the candle is not finished printing yet. We still have 4 more days before this candle will be done, but it has come down and it is close to touching the top of the Tenkan-sen, the blue line, the win line, and the Kijun-sen, the red line, has gone flat. So these are the things that we're watching, particularly on the weekly, is the flatness of the red line and the lowering of the angle on the blue line. We also notice that on this particular chart, I do have the average volume up, and the average volume is the black line, and it is starting to angle down, which means that we are using less volume than average right now. So that means that a continued push to the upside might be in jeopardy. On the daily, we can see that market action has fallen inside the channel. In fact, we did touch the red Tenkan-sen Jetstream line earlier today. Now, back in November, we did have a little bit of weakness right here, and that caused the blue line to cross below the red line. It then started to move back up, and we did have the blue line move above the red line, and that started our bullish channel with the blue line above the red line. We can see that that channel continued on up until right now, and we do have the blue line is starting to angle down, even though the channel had gotten fatter here recently. So this latest upswing right here did cause the channel to get fatter and more bullish. However, the latest market action coming down inside the channel and falling lower is going to give us a little bit more pause and could move us into a bearish situation. The first day that came down and touched the top of the blue line was a doji of indecision, and then the next day we opened up inside the channel. The day after that we opened up right above the blue line, but then traded into the channel, showing that the blue line was a little bit of resistance above. And then right now, of course, the red line is support below us as we touched it and bounced off. Going down into a lower time frame, on the 4-hour, we can see that we have fallen below the channel that was formed from the blue line being above the red line. This gap down did cause the blue line to be printed pointing down, and it is getting very close to crossing the red line. So this is one thing that we'll be watching on the 4-hour to see if the blue line does cross below the red line. Right now, it is in a bullish situation from a channel perspective, but if the blue line crosses below the red line, that will take us into a bearish channel. Going down on a lower time frame, on the 1-hour, we can see that we have lost the cloud. Market action did trade into the cloud, bouncing off it here last Wednesday, finding the cloud as support, but then on Thursday opened up underneath, traded up into it by the end of the day, and then on Friday pretty much held inside the cloud for a few hours before falling under the cloud and not being able to regain control. Now up here we did have a cross of the blue line below the red line. That created a bearish channel coming down that is still intact today. Here is our gap down on the market action today. We are quite a bit below the blue and the red, and that is a bearish situation. Our lagging green line is still inside the cloud, but if we trade sideways here a little bit longer and the lagging green line gets outside the cloud, that will be a bearish momentum sign, as it shows that there is momentum to the downside. Going down a little bit lower, we can see on a 30-minute chart, we are in a negative position as well with a free and clear lagging green line. The Chico span is now way below old market action and the other lines and the cloud, and that is bearish momentum to the downside. We do have a channel that is opened up here with the blue line below the red line, a bearish channel, where we're going to be looking to see if market action can get up and challenge the blue line, challenge the red line, and then get up and challenge the cloud, and at the same time see if it can make the blue line cross back above the red line. We do have a pretty big cloud that is getting thicker, and that is another bearish sign. On the 5-minute chart, we can see that we've come down and bottomed out with today's action. This has caused the blue line to cross above the red line, and that is a bullish situation as we come up and challenge the bottom of the cloud. So the next thing we're going to be watching to see is if market action can get inside the cloud, and that will take us into a neutral position that's not bullish or bearish on the 5-minute chart. The cloud is seen as the mean area. Price does tend to revert back to the mean, so we're going to be looking to see if price can get up into the cloud, and then the next challenge will be getting up and above the cloud. Before November, technology had been outpacing the overall market, but after November, it started losing that gain, and now we're starting to see technology underperforming the overall market. We'll be watching the 5-minute chart to see if technology can regain its advantage on the short term, and then of course we'll be watching it on the daily chart to see if it can get back above the blue and then possibly regain its advantage on the overall market. I'm William Grantham with Ichimoku Weather.com.